What if I told you some places don't forget what happened inside them? Prisons, hospitals, battlefields, places where people suffered and never left. These are the top 10 most haunted locations in America, and some of them you can still visit. Built in 1829, this prison was designed for total isolation. Inmates were locked alone, in silence for years. They believed it would force prisoners to reflect. Instead, it broke them. And one of its most famous inmates, Al Capone, claimed his cell was haunted. Today, visitors report whispers, shadow figures, and something watching from empty cells. And sometimes, the doors slam with no one there. This wasn't just a hospital, it was a place people went to die. Thousands of tuberculosis patients passed through here. To hide the deaths, bodies were moved through the death tunnel. Room 502 is where a nurse supposedly took her own life, and people still report seeing her standing in the doorway, but no one ever sees her leave. This hotel inspired The Shining. Guests hear piano music coming from an empty ballroom. Others report children laughing in the halls. And Room 217, where a housekeeper was injured, still has guests waking up to things moving on their own. And the lights don't always turn off when you leave. A luxury ship turned floating grave. Nearly 50 deaths were reported on board. Visitors say the engine room is the worst, where a crew member was crushed and still appears walking the halls. And the old swimming pool. People hear splashing even though it's been drained for decades. And sometimes footprints appear where no one's been. In 1892, 2 people were brutally murdered here with an axe. The prime suspect? Lizzie Borden. Now it's an inn where you can spend the night, but guests report hearing footsteps, doors opening, and something sitting on the bed while they sleep. And the worst part is waking up, and no one's there. A mansion with 160 rooms, staircases that go nowhere, doors that open into walls. Built non-stop for decades. Why? Sarah Winchester believed she was being haunted by the victims of the rifles her family made. So she built the house to confuse the spirits. But some say they figured it out. Thousands of patients were kept here in horrific conditions, overcrowding, abuse, experiments. Many never left. Visitors report voices screaming from empty wards, and shadow figures moving through locked rooms, and sometimes they follow you out. This house hides one of the darkest stories in American history. Madame LaLaurie tortured enslaved people inside. When authorities arrived, what they found shocked even them. Now, people report screams coming from inside, even when the house is empty, and the windows aren't always dark at night. Built on the site of an old execution gallows, this house has a history before it was even built. Visitors report full apparitions, cold spots, and footsteps on the stairs, even when no one else is inside. And sometimes you hear someone walking behind you. One of the bloodiest battles in American history. Over 50,000 soldiers died here, and many believe they never left. People report hearing gunfire, seeing soldiers marching, and even capturing voices on recordings, entire units appearing and disappearing. And sometimes they don't realize the war is over. So the next time you visit one of these places, remember, some history doesn't stay in the past. Which one would you visit, and which one would you never step foot in? Follow for more, because the next one gets even darker.